Welcome. It is the Manage Comics Thoughtstream for Thursday, September 29th, 2022. I am Brian, your host as always. Oh no, he's not there. I'm here. I was just throwing some stuff into the other room because I'm running late today. Had to pick up my kids after school and got in here exactly at 2:58 p.m. and went to upload my slides. And of course, my slides won't upload. So I was having a little bit of a panic, but we're good to go. So today we are going to have the very, very last weekly Managed Comics Thought Stream. And no, we're not going away forever. And we're not even just going away for a little while. There's good reasons for what we're doing. And I'm pretty excited about the future. But without any further ado, why don't I pop in? Can I just do the slide? Yeah, okay. So I can't upload my slide this week. So what I'll do instead is share a screen. Share screen. Normally I have time to reboot my computer. And I just didn't have time today. So I'll try this and see if it works. Yay, it's working. So let's do some little bit of housekeeping first of all. So make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, that you like us on Facebook, that you follow us on Instagram, and this week's featured shop, which is featured on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, is Wonderberries Comics, a new shop in Hawaii. Reynolds just opened up Wonderberries Comics the beginning of September, and we built his website. So his website is a Shopify site using the Dawn theme. It was the first one we did using Dawn. We really customized the Dawn theme so that it's using some of the latest things that we've talked about on this very thought stream, where we've talked about the brand colors and we've talked about some of the other things Shopify related. So for sure, check out Wonderberries Comics. And he, after his first order came in from Diamond, he sent us a great little quote. And he said, "First, holy bleep, your software is amazing. So is the support. I'm able to find the answers to most questions either via your website or the YouTube videos." And then he had a small question, and it turned out he was waiting for his books. He'd done his upload, and he was waiting for his books to populate, and he just didn't give it enough time, and all the orders got created and everything. It just, sometimes that can take half an hour. Sometimes it can take 5 minutes. It depends on the size of the order that you're bringing in. BD Cosmos asks, what's the link to his website? I think right now it's wonderberries-comics.myshopify.com. I think Wonderberries. I think I'll drop it into chat, and if I'm right, I believe it's this right here. So you're asking what his website is? What is it exactly? I can't paste right now. My computer needs a good reboot, I think. All right, moving on. So quick shout out to Rennell at Wonderberries Comics. Your questions. So we're going to dive into some questions. If you have questions to ask right now, BD Cosmos says it has a redirect. Maybe it's not fully open yet. I know he's open in store because he opened an actual physical location, but maybe he's still working on getting the online stuff. And I can probably see it because we built it. So I have the admin, and it's probably open still. Cool. I should touch base with him this week. Let's get to some of your questions. And again, if you have questions, feel free to ask them while we are talking. First question comes from Adam, and he asks us, how's the POS app coming along? Slow but surely. We still don't have the fix from Shopify themselves. So this week we've started coding a solution that will probably work without their fix being in place. Because honestly, at this point, I'm not sure if their fix will ever come. If it's been over a month, So Taras and Kirill are actually going to do something which they think will work, but it will add a little bit of extra delay to the processing of an order. Still, if you're bringing in, 20 items, it'll be a heck of a lot quicker to wait 15, 20 seconds than to manually scan in 20 items, which would be like boop, boop, boop. So hopefully that's acceptable. We're just going to work on making a little animation for it. Julian asks, I think it's Julian. Question that is only for me and nothing to do for everyone else. Did you get my email earlier this week for the actor? Yeah, I did. And I'll get that to you, Julian. Sorry, it's been a busy week this week. Where did the manage comics pages go on my BinderPause install? So we've gotten this from Rob and a few other BinderPause folks over the weeks. So one of the cool things is if you go to help.managecomics.com and you type in makes Dal says, what noise does the scanning gun make again? It makes beep, beep. Welcome back, Dal. I hope your vacation was good. So one of the cool things that we have added with the help of the folks at BinderPause is there's a setting in your BinderPause premium theme or your standard theme, and it will be Manage Comics 2 setup. If you click this, it creates a few files in your directory that will not get stomped over by BinderPause when they do updates. And so you go to Shopify Sales Channels, Online Store Themes. You'll click on your current theme. You click on, sorry, I forgot to also tell you, then you click on Customize Theme. Then in the theme settings, you click Enable Manage Comics 2. You go to Apps Manage Comics, go to Settings, make sure you have that current theme selected. Click Save, bingo, bango, sugar in your gas tank. Manage Comics will never get overwritten again. So that will fix you. 2020 Chilean made many mistakes with BinderPause and doesn't have either a regular or premium theme. Is that because they won't work with bilingualism, or do you have another reason for not using their themes? Their regular theme's actually pretty good. And I have some info. I don't think I'll tell you because I don't know if I legally can. I never know what BinderPause has told me that I'm allowed to tell other people and what they haven't. But there's some good news coming up about themes soon. So, yeah. Oh, they created a custom theme for BD Cosmos. That's cool. That's very cool. Julian, we should talk about multi-language because I know that's going to become a bigger issue for you. Jason Sizemore says, regular theme is great. Support not so great. I'm about to leave BinderPause. Hey, Jason, so you actually came up with a talk that I had with a couple of the guys at BinderPause. We've got a solution, and that's not even a question that I have in my list, but it's definitely a solution we have. We are working with BinderPause on not having all your variants taken up by BinderPause. One of the things we're probably going to do is they are going to kind of delay their processing to later in the day, which will hopefully mean that we can get anything in before they trigger any of their like updates. The other thing that we may look at is just disabling updates for BinderPause stores that request it. BinderPause updates, and then we'll figure it out kind of going onward. Only reason I'm still with Binder is the point of sale. Their point of sale is really nice. And we talked to Barrett about like the POS update that we're doing for Shopify. We would like to do something similar to that for BinderPause so that you can take your orders out of Managed Comics, move them into BinderPause kind of seamlessly. So they've got endpoints that will let us do that. And we're hoping to do that after we get our stuff done. But yeah, a lot of really good discussions with BinderPause this week, and I'm really, really excited about some of the things that we'll be able to do with them going forward. This kind of question has come up a few times, most recently from Jeff, and the question is, I didn't bring enough water. Do you have a Facebook group or some sort of community? So I have toyed with this now for the better part of a year. We don't have anything because at the time there were so many retailer groups, and I'm not sure if I just want to be another retailer group. We built a community at community.managedcomics.com, which uses some software called Tribe. We haven't really done anything with it. So right now, our community is this Thoughtstream, which I'm canceling after this week. So yeah, it's a good time to talk about community again. I think what we're going to do this week, in the next couple of weeks, is do another survey, which we haven't done for quite some time. And one of the main questions I want to ask is like, where do you guys want to be able to talk to each other and to talk to us? We could do a Discord, we could do a Slack channel, we could do a Facebook group if I absolutely positively had to, although I would really prefer not to ever touch Facebook again if I could avoid it. We have our little community that we could actually start promoting and get people using. It really kind of depends on what you guys want. So yeah, I would love to know a little bit if you guys have any thoughts on what you'd like as a community here. Give me an idea. Jason says Discord is great. Discord is basically Slack, which is what I'm starting to understand, and I think I get it. Doesn't seem too hard. I think asynchronous communication is important, where somebody can leave something and then we can respond to it later, which I think Discord does a good job of. Yeah, Jason, you're welcome for the update. And yeah, we had a great, I had a good hour-long talk with Binder Paws yesterday. We had, and they had one of their product guys on, as well as I brought on Taras, our developer. So we kind of had some good back and forth discussion about some possible solutions for things. They're good folks. Yeah, that's kind of where Discord came up. We were talking about it to Binder Paws, and I actually have a Managed Comics Discord channel that we've just never done anything with. Because to me, unless we get critical mass of at least 20 people, it doesn't make sense to, build something like that. But we will see. Yeah, Ivan says we have Discord set up. We've just not started. Ivan and I have been trying to message each other back and forth on it to see what happens. So yeah, community, let me know what you guys think. I'm hearing one vote for Discord. It's definitely not hard to set up. The problem to me is I would rather have a community that we were actively engaged with over building a community that's dead. I think the only thing worse than not having a community is having a dead one. Paul said some items are disappearing from subscriptions, and we kind of got to the bottom of this. It turned out that there were a bunch of Marvel titles in particular that had some issues just go missing because series codes got changed, which was super weird because it was like Predator #4 had a different series code than 1, 2, and 3. And this has happened a few times. So we got to get to the bottom of it with Diamond to find out why this is happening. The series code was the same for PRH, so it's something that's going on specifically with Diamond. So yeah, we definitely need to look into this. There's been a few cases like this where the series has just dropped off of people's lists, and then the next month it comes back. And if we see it, it's an easy solution. So this led to a kind of bigger conversation with Ivan and I, where we started breaking down UPC codes to figure out what the series codes are in a UPC code and whether or not it was consistent. And it turns out it is in about 99% of the cases, except for Cave Woman Comics. But that's a whole other story that we'll talk about some other day. So yeah, it turns out that most of the time, the UPC code is unique, not only between series, but also like a one shot would have a unique full UPC code. So it doesn't mean it means that we can't really tie them together automatically, one shots, but it does mean that we can tie like all of the variant covers together for a one shot, which right now we cannot do, which is causing a whole issue, a host of issues. But the other good news is that we can start to use this as a red flag to say, hey, Predator is suddenly throwing the wrong the wrong series code. So we've started looking into that a little bit, and we'll definitely be doing some work on it. So when people say, why aren't you further along on the point of sale system? It's because we have a finite amount of resources, and everybody makes it harder to do our jobs. Everybody makes it harder to do our jobs. And as comic store owners, I think you folks are all uniquely positioned to understand what I mean when I say everybody makes it harder to do our jobs. Uh, this one was from Lee. My initial order is missing some subscriptions. I've also heard this from different people about their final order cutoffs missing some subscriptions. So there's a real quick way to do it with initial orders. Hit refresh orders whenever you pop in there, because if orders got placed between, we don't automatically recalculate those. I don't know why. I just know how to solve it. I will look into this a little bit bigger picture and see if we can kind of recalculate things on the fly, or at least every night. I think they do get recalculated every night, although I think sometimes we have to manually kick it in the pants. It will not change your shelf copies, so that won't change at all. On FOCs, the button is actually at the top that says recalculate subscriptions. And one thing I need to test is whether or not that changes the numbers that you may have entered. Because we should be doing quiet saves all the time. Quiet save just means it's a save without hitting a save button. And if that works, then this should be fine. But yeah, you can hit, there's a green button at the top that says, I'm moving my mouse and I don't think you can see it. Anyway, there's a gray button next to all the green buttons on the FOCs, and you can click that to refresh from your subscriptions as well. And Craig asks, my partner, Craig, what's going on with the Thoughtstream? Because he saw the emails this morning and was a little frantic about them. So this is the last weekly one. I've just noticed diminishing returns. We're down to like 9 viewers live, and we're getting 30 to 40 viewers a week on these. And so, yeah, I think we're probably hitting you guys too much with them. So we're going to go back to bi-weekly. We used to do bi-weekly. I've done them almost weekly for like 6 months, with the exception of, I think, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, where I had to go bi-weekly. And what I noticed on those small breaks was that we had more people joining us on the following ones. And it's honestly kind of hard to come up with 30 to 40 minutes of things to talk about every week. It's also a lot of work. I spend probably 2 hours a week just kind of prepping and then wrapping up from the Thoughtstream. And that's 2 hours a week that I could be doing on things that would benefit us all. So yeah, we're going to go back to every other week. And in the meantime, Ivan and I are playing around with some ideas. And one of those ideas is, I really like the idea of 2-minute tips. There's so much about Manage Comics, and even more importantly about Shopify, that folks just don't know. And Shopify has a ton of things that you could do with it. So I've been kind of noodling around in my brain about like 2-minute Tuesdays, which would be a 2-minute video. I can crank off like 10, 15 of them in an afternoon someday. And we're going to do things like, Ivan, pop in and tell us some of the things that we're going to do. We've talked about bulk editing in Shopify, how to do it quickly and efficiently. We talked about creating segmentation in your customer database. Talked about just, the importance of the customer database and why that needs to be one of the key things. This is something I don't know if I've stressed enough, but a customer database is a physical asset for your store that is actually worth money. So if you ever decide to sell your store for whatever reason, the size of your database is actually something that you can put a value to and calculate how much that database is worth. Plus, if you're using something like Shopify, you can actually put a value to each one of your customers and say, my customer base is worth on average $7,000 each a year, whatever it ends up being. But yeah, that's kind of key information for when you sell your business. Really, really easy thing to do. We talked about collections. Oh, smart collections, doing smart collections. So Ivan has been throwing up things here. Shopify products, details on how Shopify makes them, the handles and other editing tools and the product view. Tags and the importance of creating tags and what different tags you can create. Smart collections are like super powerful. Also, manual collections for taxes, and we could do a 2-minute tip on just how to configure your managed comics setup so that it configures your taxes properly on the back end as well, so that your Shopify products all get proper taxation. Again, all these things have help, topics, but a lot of stuff is buried and you're not going to get to it. But if we do these little 2-minute videos and we promote those, I think that will be a better use of my time than necessarily this thing. Although I love the thought streams and I don't want to totally give them up. So what we'll definitely do is, going forward, one kind of purpose-built one, which is around a topic. The next one will be on the point of sale, and we'll go through, kind of deep dive through the point of sale. And then the following one after that will most likely be like an Ask Me Anything kind of thing. We'll see how that goes, and maybe we end up doing 2 purpose-built ones. Maybe we do more kind of both, purpose-built and kind of more freeform Ask Me Anything stuff. So we will see how that goes. I think that might be my last question from my database. Next time we're going to be going bi-weekly. It'll be Thursday, October 13th. We're talking the Shopify POS. I already buried that lead, but yeah. Anybody have any questions or anything? Fairly small. I actually have to get my daughter to her job in about 15 minutes. So we're a little short on time this week. So Cryptic Cove said, Discord's very configurable. I use it for various groups and I much prefer it over, let's say, Facebook, but I'm open to almost anything where we can gather together. Cool. Yeah. My idea is, like, I would like there to be, retailers helping retailers as well as information from us, Managed Comics specifically, because often you guys have insights that we don't have, and sometimes you have like a really, really elegant solution for something that we've really over engineered. So I get a lot of value out of hearing from retailers, and I hope you guys get value out of that too. Oh man, I've done so much work on my backdrop and it wasn't even on all this time. Oh, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. So I've got I got a new, I put in channels and I've got a light at the top now. It's so much different than it used to be. You can actually see on where the absolute dark night is over here. I haven't actually put the full channel stuff in there, whereas these are all a little bit more diffused. It's still not as diffused as I'd like, though. This isn't lightsaber smoothness. It's still pretty bright. You know how we update images during the import process of Managed Comics? Any thoughts to also giving us access to update the naming? Yeah, that's a good point. We could probably do that. To be totally honest, though, I feel like it's easier for you to update the naming in bulk in Shopify. So it's something we can definitely look at some point, but I don't know if we would kind of prioritize that very high. That's the other thing, is I want to kind of groom our backlog. It's been a while since I've done a really thorough backlog grooming. So next week, instead of thought streaming, I think I'm going to take some time and really look at all of our backlog requests and see what we can fix. Yeah. So Julian says he is currently updating the naming in bulk in Shopify, and he's just trying to skip a step. Jason says, I got a lot of help from other binder pause retailers, even found out a lot of us had the same terrible Games Workshop rep. That's awesome. Those image updates phone home to GeekFetch. Yeah, so one of the reasons we do those image updates is because we find it's a really useful exercise that when a store updates the image, it kind of updates it across the network. And the reason I know, Dal, you guys don't always update the GeekFetch information if there's like a product missing or something like that. The reason it's good to update those things is because then in the future, if you bring that product back in, you don't have to, manually create it or update your numbers or anything. But yeah, for sure. Things to think about, I think. If all things were equal and we had all of our other problems solved, I think we would definitely dive into some things where you can update your own taxonomy and stuff like that. That's one I'd love to get into, is like settings so that you can update your taxonomy, so that comics could be comic books if you wanted it to be. The problem with a lot of this stuff is it's severely diminishing returns because a very small set of people are actually going to use certain tools. And I don't want to, without saying the name of any other software developers, I don't want to dictate how you run your business, but at the same time, we do things in the way that is kind of most kind of not really lowest common denominator, but common denominator, I would say. So yeah, that's where that is. Any other questions, folks? Dal, how was your vacation? You were off for 2 whole weeks and the world didn't end. And even Patrick managed to have some really good guests on the podcast. That must be just amazing to know that you can go away and not have everything fall apart. In November, I'll be going away for 1 week, and I'm hoping that the world won't fall apart because it's the first time I've gone away anywhere in 3 years. Yeah, this will be the 3rd year. So I'm confident, though. I think Ivan's got this. We've always got Craig to save the day if anything goes horribly awry. Taras and Kirill are on the ball for the technical stuff. We're rocking and rolling right now. All right, folks, if there are no more questions for me, that's going to do it for this week. Ivan says, no, don't leave us. It's okay. You got this. You got this. How about a Quebec road trip in 2023? I'm in. You know what? So I've had my car, I have a Honda Fit 2009. It has an air conditioning issue that I've been debating. Do I fix it or do I just get a new car? And I think I'm going to just fix it next year. It's a super simple problem. It's like the air conditioning clutch has broken and it's a $250 part, but it's like a $1,100 labor bill because they have to take off the front quarter panel and disassemble, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I haven't wanted to do it, but yeah, I gotta get to Quebec. I gotta get to Toronto. I'm going to try and get to Toronto in the next couple of weeks. I'm going back to Michigan the week of October 16th because I'm seeing Kevin Smith in Detroit. Yeah, and then I'm thinking February I'll make it down to Chicago. I had hoped to be there much earlier. BD Cosmo says, fix it. Not currently a good time to buy a car with logistics and how they are. No, I agree. That said, it's painful when you've got a 2009 car that may need $2,000 worth of repairs because that's just ouchy. But it's got to think of it as like 3 months worth of payments. So, all right, folks, that's enough of my horrible dilemmas. We will talk to you in 2 weeks. October 13th, 3 p.m. at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 Pacific, for Managed Comics Thoughtstream POS edition. We'll be talking about the Shopify POS, and I may even talk a little bit about BinderPause if I can. I have a BinderPause sample account, and I could actually kind of go through some stuff with that as well. So in the meantime and in between times, keep selling comics, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.